Hello. I just wanted to document the progress on the semantic file search app. This is called AMAdocs, Ask Me Anything Docs. So the idea is I wanted to create a file explorer that used an LLM to do file search. Now, the first prototype of this was all local, and although it was an interesting project, it didn't consistently produce accurate results, and the main reason for that is basically this laptop is an old gaming laptop with a GTX 1650 Ti and only 4 gigs of RAM. So this was entirely local. The idea was to do entirely local search, and it was basically struggling to give accurate results. It did give results, and sometimes those results were good, but often they were didn't quite get the information or file that you requested. So I pivoted away from local and tried entirely cloud-based to see how it would perform. So this is going through OpenRouter. You have to put an API key in, and it will obviously use your credit. It tends to be fairly cheap though to do a whole hard drive. I mean, you're talking about 0.0006 cents per document, and 0.001 cents up to 1 cent per chat answer. So it is using credit, but it does give accurate results. And if for me, for example, I work in a job with a lot of admin, and sometimes I need to retrieve a document from a very large corpus of documents, and this can be very time consuming. So this is a way that it could be done. Now, ideally in the future it will be done locally, but until we have machines with enough power to power really useful local search, this is probably going to be cloud-based. Any machine without a graphics card is not going to be able to do the local search at all. So just to give a quick demonstration, at the moment there are 2 folders that have been indexed, this documents folder and this pictures folder. Now let's have a quick look in them both. You can see in the pictures folder we've got an interesting diagram of a game controller project somebody's done. Okay, and we've got a picture of a coffee table with orange juice on it. Okay, and let's have a quick look in the documents folder. We've got lots of exam papers here, so let's have a quick look at an exam paper. This is a Cambridge exam paper about horses. There's a text here about horses and a text here about foal, so a baby horse, and riding across America. So, okay, now if you look at the file name for this, you can see 718835/2027 specimen. I mean, this is typical of the kind of admin documents you have where the title doesn't relate to any of the contents. But let's see if we can use the LLM to do a semantic search. So text about horses, and see if it's going to return a result for us. So the LLM is thinking about this. It's going through a vector database that's been already indexed and saved on this hard drive. Here we go. So we've got our text A, horses. Great. So the first result, absolutely perfect. Okay, so let's try another one. Let's try so the pictures, and also it returns the results in this window here, in this central window here, which has previews. That's another feature I built into this, is previews for documents, a little thumbnail kind of preview, so you can basically see what's in the document, and often this is useful to, oh yeah, that's the document I'm looking for. So what about the images? Let's try them. Game controller document. Oh, game controller, sorry, diagram. Let's see. Here we go. It's got the first 2 results. There we go. Both of these our game controller diagrams. Yeah, okay. And here underneath, you can see this is the, so basically the way it works is that it's the app. So first of all, this sits on GNOME. This uses GNOME GNOME distributions, yeah, Linux distributions with GNOME, and the reason for that is because GNOME has Tiny Sparkle, which is a small, basically metadata extracted from every document. And this is a full text extraction that basically sits on the hard drive of a GNOME system. Now, I don't know who's using this. I don't know why it's being extracted, but it's actually very useful for this kind of semantic search. Now, it doesn't actually do images. The image, the semantic search for images is an extra thing I built on top of it, where the app will actually generate generate the description of the image here. Yeah, but for documents, GNOME by default generates a full text extraction, and that full text extraction can be used to then create a vector database, which is the database that the LLM uses to search. So okay, so let's go back to, I was kind of interrupted the search I was doing. Let's try the other one. So the other image I want to search for is orange juice on a coffee table. So there's the image of the orange juice sitting on the coffee table. Let's see if it gets it. There we go, first result. Yeah. Okay, so that's the progress of it so far. As you can see, it's all routed through OpenRouter. I mean, although it does obviously spend credit, I've used about $1.57. This is entirely from just prototyping, just me testing it again and again and again. So that's not typical of a spend. I've indexed this hard drive several times over just through prototyping, just testing the mechanism to make sure it was working properly at each stage. So that is not actually typical of a spend. I think the first full indexing of the hard drive cost me about 40 cents. And then on top of that, you do have, when you're doing your search, you do spend tokens on the search, yeah. But it does track it here for you as well, so that you can make sure it's not too much of a spend. But generally speaking, this is cents. It's not. It's barely going to go above 10 cents for most uses over a period of time. You know, it's down to like less than 1 cent for each chat, for each search. Okay.